Will Classic TBC be worth playing? I'm on the fence about it. Nice song.
Hey everyone, with Classic TBC finally announced and with the hype for it being higher than it's ever been, many players around the world will start wondering if Classic TBC is finally the MMO that will capture them and whether it will be worth playing. You might be an old WoW player that didn't find any joy in playing either Shadowlands or Classic. Or you might be someone that is currently playing Classic and wonders whether you should select the Burning Crusade option for your main on pre-patch day. Or maybe you're playing Shadowlands and you want to know whether TBC is going to be any different than Classic. In this video, I've got you covered. We're going to answer one simple question. Will Classic TBC be worth playing for you? Let's find out. So, to start with, TBC, like every WoW expansion, is a feature-focused expansion. New raids, new dungeons, more PvP systems. This is what Blizzard sells to their players every time they advertise for a new expansion. And TBC is no different. We will get to the features, and spoiler alert, they are amazing. But like with anything in WoW, the most important part of the game is you. You, your character, and your class. They are the scope through which you view and experience the game. If you don't enjoy your class, you likely will not enjoy the game. So let's talk about that. TBC took Vanilla's class design and improved on it very heavily. In the Classic Lounge podcast's first and most recent episode, Kevin Jordan, who was one of the 3 original game designers for WoW, including the Burning Crusade, and the one in charge of class design, he reveals that in Vanilla, the main goal was to have every class be able to be invited to a raid. In TBC, however, the goal was to let every spec to be invited to the raid. That was obviously a large endeavor, but the team mainly succeeded. You can play any class or spec, bar some obvious exceptions, and be able to...
Wait a minute, is that actually true? Wait, pause. Wait a minute. Same shirt, same jacket, same glasses, same hat, same unshowered still, same room, same microphone, same nose, same eyes, same hand. Yeah, same everything. Yep.
Obvious exceptions and be able to find a spot in a raid. Let's take the most obvious, quote, meme spec that is stigmatized in Vanilla, Boomkins. In Classic, if you play Druid and you want to raid, you have to go heal. Maybe Feral if you're very lucky, but Boomkin is out of the picture. And that is mainly due to the mana issues which make them go very quickly into a fight, on top of them doing very low damage in general. In TBC, however, this is no longer the case. Boomkins get a total rework to their
Dude, I fucking love Boomkins. Like, I don't know what it is. I just fucking love them. In fact, this is so weird. Remember we used to do all the speedrun reviews where we would watch other guilds' speedruns here on my stream? The most memorable speedrun I ever watched here on this stream with you guys, it was by Goosey, G-U-S-Y, Goosey, European Guild. It was a Blackwing Lair speedrun. And they had a Boomkin in the raid. And I was like, dude, that's so fucking... And by the way, they had like... It was like the second fastest run in the world. At the time they did it. And I was like, dude, fuck yeah. They're proving that you can fucking have... And then, of course, like, you know... It's still not the most min-max thing. But it's like, yeah, like, if you want to have a meme spec with you, you know... You can make it work, right? I thought that was so fucking cool. It wasn't the best run in the world. It wasn't the best guild in the world. They were good, but right, they had a fucking Moonkin, and that was awesome.
Talent tree. Dream State, which is a talent that restores 10% of your intellect as mana every 5 seconds, even while casting, single-handedly fixes their mana issues. But on top of that, most talents are boosted in power, to help any balanced druid to pump way more damage than they previously could. Now don't get too excited. Boomkins are not going to break records in terms of DPS, but they are now strong enough so that a raid leader can look at them and easily choose to invite them. And this is just one example for one class, but TBC improves many specs to feel enjoyable and viable in every situation. One big criticism of Vanilla was that players were pigeonholed in specs that they didn't want to play for picking a class. It is no longer the case in TBC. You can pick whichever class you want and you will be able to play any role you want in any scenario. Let's talk about raiding. Raids go from requiring 40 players to just 25 players. The fights are now more mechanically complex compared to the 1 or 2 ability fights from vanilla, and it now feels like every player is part of the fight. On top of that, Blizzard announced in their TBC Deep Dive panel a couple...
The fact that every player is a part of the fight is actually a bad thing if you have a bunch of dumbasses on your roster. It's a good thing if you have a bunch of super gamers, but it can go either way.
Days ago, that raiding will be made extra challenging by bringing fights on their pre-nerf state while still keeping them bug-free. This will feel like a breath of fresh air. Unlike what happened in Classic, where raiding felt so trivial, Classic TBC raids will feel actually challenging and fun, and the sense of progression for your guild will be present. TBC introduced some amazing encounters, and if you're someone that couldn't get into vanilla because of how trivial and boring the content felt, I'm happy to say that TBC will be a complete 180 on that. Dungeons. TBC is the expansion that introduced heroic dungeons. And heroic dungeons actually packed a punch, especially early on. And those dungeons contain some very valuable gear that is comparable to gear that
TBC
drops from 25-man
so
raids, looking at Quagmire's Eye for example. But the reason why heroic dungeons are so good is because of the badges of justice. Thanks to this currency that you can accumulate throughout the expansion, you can manage to guarantee yourself some strong gear even if you're unlucky with rolls during raids, or if you're a social that gets skipped for loot distribution. Badges of Justice let you buy some very strong raid comparable gear, and the gear is kept relevant by adding new vendors once Zulaman releases and once Sunwell releases. PvP. In vanilla, PvP was underwhelming at best. With the introduction of Arena, TBC will scratch your PvP itch whether you're a casual or a competitive gamer. And with the introduction of the resilience stat, you can really shine against any player, even if you want to never set foot in.
How many times do you see an arena match with this? All right, boys. No pillars. There's one rule. No pillars. We're going to fight out in the open. No LOS. That's cheating.
Resilience stat, you can really shine against any player, even if you want to never set foot in a raid. The arena is a place that rewards the most skilled and not the ones that have 18 hours per day to spare to the game. And even if you're a casual arena player, since the vast majority of arena gear requires no rating, in fact, all of Season 1 and Season 2 gear has 0 rating requirements.
True.
Rating requirements only start appearing on Season 3 and Season 4 gear, and for only a
which means you have 2 seasons to get good before you actually have to be good.
Very few items like shoulders and weapons. You can really just play casually with your friends, accumulating arena points, and eventually you will be able to get your character fully geared without ever setting foot in a raid or dungeon.
Yeah, so how it is, he's looking at shoulders. Shoulders in Season 3, 1950. Weapon, 1850. There's some other things like... Is it chest piece? Chest piece? That's like 2.1k? I forget. It was so long ago, man.
Now, the one thing that TBC falls short on is leveling. Unlike vanilla, where leveling actually feels engaging and you feel like you're actually going through a journey, TBC is when leveling becomes way more linear and stale. It is clear that your goal is to reach max level, and leveling is only an excuse to get you to that point. Let me know if you agree on this in the comments. And then there's the fact that Blizzard is introducing a one-time per account level 58 boost for your character of choice.
True.
Many players are mad about this, but I personally really don't see any negative.
Yo, here's the thing. Blizzard is gonna make so much fucking money from this. You can be mad. I'm not so happy about it, right? But Blizzard is going to make so much fucking money. Bobby Kotick, that guy's nipples are so hard thinking about this. Dude. He's gonna be able to buy a 17th Lambo.
This will allow more players to join the game that are discouraged from the 1 to 60 leveling bracket. And the more players that join the game, the better for everyone. Those are the systems that TBC introduced and improves on from vanilla, but this expansion is so much more than that. If you're a WoW player, chances are you're a casual player that wants to enjoy the game and not take part in super sweaty activities. I made a video a while ago answering whether TBC is casual friendly, and the answer is definitely yes, for all the reasons mentioned above, but also for much more. There is no Azerite or artifact power in TBC, forcing you to engage with the activities of the game to stay up to date with your character. There is no world quests or Torghast or any weekly or daily activities that you need to catch up on to stay relevant.
I remember trying. You remember you hit revered with these guys, and you have to do the quest where you've got to chase the guy around. You got to fly around and chase him around, and then you beat the quest, and you get the 10% riding crop trinket, right? The racing quest. I tried to do this on my shitty ass Dell laptop in 2007 that would overheat and it would max out at 7 FPS. Dude, this was the hardest quest in the entire fucking game. We had dial-up. It was so hard. Oh,
In fact,
dude,
the opposite. Blizzard announced that previous raids will be nerfed, both in terms of attunement requirements and difficulty as the expansion goes through its phases, to allow players that missed out on the start and players who want to make alts, for example, to not feel trapped over time. So, if you're someone who likes to casually enjoy WoW, TBC is definitely the expansion for you. TBC was also the expansion where World of Warcraft was at its peak in terms of growth. Even Wrath, which was the most popular period of WoW in terms of subscribers, was mainly a flat line compared to TBC. Take this with a grain of salt, however, because those numbers looked like this back then.
You know, when you put it this way, TBC, as far as growth, was actually the most successful expansion WoW's ever had. Like, Wrath, you know, peaked at the highest count ever of an expansion, but and I'm not counting vanilla, because vanilla, you know, on technicalities, vanilla is not an expansion. TBC is the most successful expansion WoW ever had. Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Doesn't necessarily mean that the game will be this popular this time around. Gamers are different nowadays, and times have changed a lot. But at least, this goes to show that TBC was so good that WoW was still growing from it. So it's safe to say that the Classic WoW product as a whole will follow a similar growth pattern thanks to Classic TBC. And finally, TBC has developers who are actually listening to the community. I know I'm going to sound like a Blizzard shill for saying this, and that's fine. The community has raised so many issues and has been very vocal for TBC. And Blizzard, at least the classic WoW devs, listened and offered the players what they wanted. Drums of Battle fixed, Seal of Blood for both factions, a content release schedule that makes sense. Hell, players even started complaining that Season 1 was coming too late when the schedule was announced. And less than 24 hours later, the devs tell us through a Q&A that they will actually change that to bring it sooner. Now, of course, let's not get too excited. We had a similar treat for Classic originally in 2018 and 2019, where Blizzard seemed very reactive to community feedback, but then, once the game released, it felt like radio silence for a very, very long time. Problems were surfacing, and players were complaining, and nothing was being done. If someone from Blizzard is by chance watching this, my only hope is that they will keep listening and communicating with the community. Even if it's to tell us, screw you, we're not changing this or that. But it's better than saying nothing and letting the game feel abandoned. But with that, here's the conclusion. Let's answer the question in the title of this video. Is Classic TBC worth playing? Absolutely yes. Whether you're a casual or a hardcore player. This expansion improves on vanilla on so many aspects, and it provides hours and hours of gameplay for you to enjoy at whichever pace you want. And if you're someone who did not play Classic and is concerned about the hours of leveling in front of you from 1 to...
Dude, I don't know why no one thought of this. You know what they should have done in Cataclysm? You know what we should have done in Cataclysm? When Deathwing's like acting up, you know, he's getting all these black dragons all fucking mad, he's fucking everyone up. We should have gone back to Outland, got a bunch of Gron, brought him into Azeroth and said, alright, yo, Gron, these black dragons are acting up. Yo, go fuck them up. No one is better at fucking up black dragons than the Gron, man. The Gron, like, you ever wonder why in Blade's Edge Mountains there's all the black dragons, you know, like, spiked up on that? It's because the Gron did that. Like, the Gron... fuck those guys up, man.
Provides hours and hours of gameplay for you to enjoy at whichever pace you want. And if you're someone who did not play Classic and is concerned about the hours of leveling in front of you from 1 to 70, leveling is actually made faster through 1 to 60 in Classic TBC from the start. And there's still the option to buy a...
In fact, you guys ever wonder why there's black dragons in Outland in the first place? You guys ever wonder that? I guess the story... I looked at this, I was like, why the... Yo, wait, hold up. Why the fuck is all these black dragons out here? Deathwing actually went through the Black Portal and tried to build like a black dragon army in Outland and was breeding all these black dragons in Outland. And then there was like the black dragons fighting the Gron out there that got all mad. And then what happened was the Netherwing Drakes, those are like nether infused, fucked up babies of Deathwing. That's actually true. That's actually a fact.
Level 58 boost if you really can't be bothered with leveling. But for now, that's all I have in this video. Let me know what you guys think about the points brought in here, whether you agree or disagree. And let me know if I convinced you in playing Classic TBC, because that's my main goal here. With that said, as always, whatever you do, remember to have fun, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Bye.
Okay, he makes some good points. Yeah, okay, I'll play. Yeah, I'll play. He has convinced me. I'm ready to play.